It's time to get into the meat for this episode. An American Werewolf in London, as chosen by Joe AP.
Not the same as the one in Paris, isn't it?
No.
Oh, it's way. Yeah, Joe and I both watched American Werewolf in Paris as well.
Did you guys?
And I didn't finish it. Did you finish it, Joe?
No.
I didn't finish it either. I watched
it
most of it, but I just speaking of time management, I did not manage my time well. I had also intended to watch this documentary about Rick Baker, which I had seen before, but I was meant to watch it again, and I didn't get that done as well. So I might not have as much facts. It's good. It's a short one too. It's like 20-something minutes. It's
Netflix,
on YouTube.
what?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can get it.
Oh, I gotta watch that. Rick Baker is just ridiculous. He was such a talent back then with the practical effects, and the movie that we're covering this week exemplifies that fully.
Especially one scene. I don't know. So, some of the scenes of this wolf like walking around was kind of like, it looks like a stuffed animal moving around. But the transformation scene was amazing.
What possessed you to choose an American Werewolf in London?
Actually, Scott retweeted on Twitter's. I think
it's the anniversary. Was it an anniversary?
It's 42 years anniversary.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had no idea, man.
Joe is the only person that reads my Twitter feed.
Yeah, that was the reason why, and that was probably the time I thought was, I want to see that movie again. And I think the movie's storyline is there's nothing to it, right? It was just
there's not a lot plot.
Two friends plan to take a Euro trip, and their first stop was in London, and they want to explore London first, and then work their way down to Italy. I think the movie sort of started out hitchhiking a truck that carries sheeps.
Yeah, they're in the back of the sheep, right?
Yeah, and then
now, if I may interject, of course I'm going to interrupt because I always do that. I'm rude like that. In watching this film again, and it didn't occur to me when I was a kid, right? One of the things that I liked about this movie was the dynamic between the two friends, right? The two young men. But I felt so bad for his friend Jack. Okay, the two characters named, and the main character who eventually becomes a werewolf is David.
Yes, David and Jack.
David and Jack.
Yes, and Jack, yes, who unfortunately dies pretty early on in the film, even though he does have a continued presence. Yes. But, from the very start, my boy Jack got the short end of the stick, man.
Oh, David straight up left him to get ate by a wolf in the wilderness. He started runs off, and then he feels guilty, and then slowly comes back.
But like Joe just said, it starts out with them in the back of a truck hitching a ride with a bunch of sheep around them.
He got shit on by a sheep.
Yeah,
right?
Thank you, Joe. Yes, like Jack is following David around. This was obviously not Jack's idea, or even his idea of a good time, right?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, he actually complained the whole time while we're there in the wet, damp place in London, in the middle. In England, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and doesn't he have like a girl he wants to go see? I think in Italy or something that he's supposed to go see, but the other ding dong wanted to go walk through the English countryside.
It sounded like It sounded like that was the,
This is going to be Joe and I in Europe, June. This is what's going to happen. Joe and I are going to backpack through Europe, and the same thing's going to happen.
And Scott's going to do what he wants to do. And
Joe will get ate by a wolf, and that's pretty much what's going to happen.
I was trying to understand why would they try to go a place where they have no idea what.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pre-GPS, so they're just literally walking. They don't have a map, and they're supposed to follow the road. And at one point, they just walk off the road, just chit-chatting, walking off the road. Where are they going? How do they know where they're going?
I don't listen. Okay, so the English moors, right? That's a certain part or a certain type of land within the country. Right. And is that where they were? Is that where this sheep herder guy dropped them off? And like why? I don't.
Well,
These are questions.
it didn't really explain why that sheep truck driver stopped, because there's a fork on the road, and I guess this is the direction he's going. That's the other direction this guy was supposed to go to. But there's no real destination. They didn't say, "Oh, they're going to Stonehenge," or it was just they just got dropped off. That's how the movie started, and then they just venture into a town, and then it was rainy.
And did the movie open up with the song "Blue Moon"? Right, that's a running gag in this movie. There's always moon songs. Blue Moon. I See a Bad Moon Rising by CCR. There was a Donovan song about moon. It's all moon songs.
And what was the name of the pub they walk into?
The Slaughtered Lamb.
Slaughtered Lamb.
I would never walk into anything called the Slaughtered Lamb. And the sign? Did you see the sign? It wasn't a slaughtered lamb. It was like some.
It was a wolf got his head cut off.
Yeah. So. Yeah, they walk into the pub and then everybody just stops and stares at them like, what are you doing in here?
Mm-hmm.
The customers in that pub, the worst bunch of people on earth, knowing what was going to happen or what could happen, and allowing these, and at one point the I don't know if she was the owner of the pub or whatever, the woman behind the bar or that was serving them.
Yeah.
Even said after, because eventually they make these two guys feel like such shit that they have to leave. Yes. Okay. And they went out into the cold, into the rain, back in the road. And then the woman behind the bar has the nerve, the audacity to say, maybe we should have told them about it.
She was like, you're going to let them go? Like they know. So this town must know there's a werewolf out there, right? Yeah, that's the whole secret of the town. There's a werewolf out there. And she's basically like, you can't let them go out there. They're going to die. And they're like, oh, well, I don't know. You can hear the wolf man in the background. You hear him howling, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear anything." So they're like, "Forget that. I ain't gonna go out there. I'm not gonna get killed by the wolf man. And let those two dummies die."
So back then, there's no women that go out to the pub, just men.
I guess.
I don't know. Every English movie I've ever seen, there's always an English barmaid, and it's always all guys.
This is a common thing with old English movies, isn't it? It's just like what they weren't allowed, like unless you worked there, you weren't allowed to. I don't know. That is a good observation, actually.
Yeah.
So they got kicked out, and they didn't care. So they're still full of life, enjoying them.
But like free. I said before, they're just walking. They tell them in the pub, don't leave the road, follow the road. And they're just walking off the road, chit-chatting, talking, and who knows where they're going. Why would you not be following the road? You're going to walk through a field? Do you think you're going to end up somewhere?
And it's the first thing they did was go off the road.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even
makes
it's
no
not something
sense.
Like where they lost because of conversation or whatever. No. As soon as they got outside the pub, they were off the road.
I wouldn't know how you know where you were going. You don't have GPS. You don't have a map. You would have to follow a road to go somewhere. It makes no sense.
But at some point they realized they were lost. I thought you guys were lost the moment you left the pub.
Yeah.
You didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, they went in lost. They were lost to begin with. They didn't know where they were. I mean, my ass would have been sleeping in that Slaughtered Lamb pub. I would not have left it no matter how crazy those people treated me. But hey, what do I know?
So they hear the wolf man, right? The wolf man's they hear something howling. They don't know what it is. I did look up. There's been no wolves in England since the 15th century. They were all hunted and killed during Henry VII, his age. They died out. So
wow.
Yeah. So if you heard a wolf in London, it's got to be a werewolf because there's no real wolves.
Scott's interesting facts.
Interesting facts.
Yes.
So back to the part when his friend was attacked. The moment his friend got attacked, they turned and ran. He ran so fast, and I think it was his nature. You
would think it's a dog, right? If I was if we were hitchhiking or backpacking, Joe, and you got attacked I would think it's a dog, and I would run. But I would at least be like, "Oh, that's a dog attacking Joe," and then I'd.
But you still run anyway.
Yeah, of course I'd still run.
Joe would be all right. It's just
he's fine. The dog's just playing with him.
But then he came back to sense, though. He came back to his senses.
Yeah, then he comes back and gets bit.
Yeah, after he was like a mile away. Like it took him a minute. did. People were like, oh, Jack, maybe I should go back. And he went, and Jack was torn the F up, man. By the time he got back, poor Jack, man. He didn't want to be there. He wanted to get some ass in Italy. That's all he wanted. And look, he's lying in the English countryside, ripped up to be damned because of his boy David.